All right, welcome back, everybody. This is Kim Hickey here. Joining me is my co-host, Mr. Jason Patel. We are filming live and doing these sessions at the Waikoloa Villages in Hawaii, and I didn't even have to look up how to say it again this time. Today is the opening day for the conference itself. We had a welcome dinner last night and fire dancers.
Fantastic. How do you beat that?
Oh, I know. So
Beat that.
we're in like full on learning mode and just had some great topics. So Dr. Hale, Dr. Mark Hale is joining us today. And he's a longtime friend and partner of ATI with previous companies. But before we've been involved with a lot of your companies. He's a true entrepreneur. And boy, if anyone mentions any little kind of a problem, Dr. Hale is on it looking for solutions. And he sees solutions where the rest of us see problems and issues. Dr. Hale sees solutions. So today he's going to be here with Express by FacePay. He has a wonderful booth. We always look forward to it every year. But we're going to talk about surcharging, which is the bane of many businesses' existence.
Before we get into that, I think you mentioned a wonderful booth. I kind of want to give them a kind of a backstory on that. His booth is Express by FacePay, right? So they went with the theme Pineapple Express. So I will leave that. I will let the viewers kind of figure that one out if they don't know already.
True startup. Yeah, appreciate you letting us be ourselves, right?
Oh, we love it. We love it.
Be a little out there.
Yeah, well, maybe what I'll do, Jason, if you remind me, we'll get a picture of the booth and post it in the comments.
Well, I can't wait for the trade show. I know that's going to be fun.
It is.
Again, the craps table again, right?
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
Back from Dallas. Here we go.
Dr. Hale knows how to party.
He does. He does. So surcharges, again, the bane of many businesses' existence, and so much money goes down the drain and so many things. So what do you want to share with us?
You throw out surcharging, right?
Right.
The only reason I get so excited by it is as a startup, you build for this moment, right? And this moment's arrived now, right? So what I appreciate about ATI and the members' patience, you call it Express by FacePay. We started as FacePay, right? What I'm happy about, startup founders, the name stuck. Everybody loves FacePay, right? And there it is. And the advisors are telling the customer, download the FacePay app, right? And pay with it. Well, you never downloaded the app and you didn't pay with it. Right? But the name stuck, right? So we changed it to Express. And then all of a sudden we're having this moment around surcharging. Because back then you're introducing a new concept, right? Yeah, some 75% of your customers have this new concept, and again, like, oh, I'm willing to try that. I'm out there. They didn't want to send out Express, right? It's difficult learning, and as we called shops, they're surcharging. I've never heard advisors openly be so livid. We call them to use surcharge. Oh my, I hate it. I wish we never would have done it. I bear the brunt. Oh, the customer hated me yesterday. Well, guess what? Now they want to send out Express, right? Because it gets that monkey off their back. The thing
So maybe what you should do for a moment is explain a little bit what Express is. I just jumped right into surchargers and everything else.
Because we're excited.
I know. We are.
Chair broke. So they may have never known what Express was. How close we were. So it's interesting about Express. And thank you. This is a product pitch. It's exciting.
It's not supposed to be a product pitch, but it's just a phenomenal product, right? So let's give them some background. Exactly what does Express do and how is it useful for auto shops?
Because here's what we've never considered, right? And we don't look at it as just payments. How do you use payments to drive your organization? Right? This is what Amazon, eBay, all the greats do, right? And that's where you look for Express. So imagine we just didn't consider there's another option, right? There's always credit card, cash, or check, right? And checks more usage in collision than there and the auto repair side. But we never thought is there another option that's better? No, I didn't. I found that Express will say we can approach this not from a process or credit card perspective, from a brand new one to bring the option. And what is it? 3/4 of your customers already have Venmo, Zelle, Cash App, PayPal, the rest of them, where they've added a bank. Right? Do you two have one of those?
I have
you send money to? You have all of them,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And the truth is, we use them intermittently
Mhm.
to transfer money. That's what they're there for. But what we haven't considered for shops and owners, this options already in hands of your customers. Can I value you, right? Because you told me it's all about customer, the way you educate them, set expectations.
Mhm.
We don't need to educate your customers on this because they already have it. So the expectation is when we connect to something you have to make our shop even better, that experience when you come in the door, how we communicate, how you pick up your vehicle, we can offload it. I get it. You see me all wound up, right? Because did either of you rent a car here in Hawaii or?
I did not.
I did not, but I have many times.
Oh, you understand right here. It's the worst you've ever seen. There's a massive line out the door. It's 100 people long. I get from budget and they have fast break. What's interesting, fast break, no reward credits. You don't need a tier status. You just literally sign up. Nobody's in the fast break line. This line's
What?
3 hours long to get through it. Literally, to go through the line and get your car. And that's the first way you spend your vacation, the whole afternoon waiting to get it.
That would make
When-
me salty
Oh, yeah.
for like a day or two.
When all you could do is added fast break, walked right up. I was in there 12 seconds in and out of budget because I have it. I know I'm in the Nowhere Express, right? This is the value is your customers want that convenience. In shops that embrace convenience of picking up their vehicles with keys or you coming to shops quicker, they love it. So Express is an option your customers already have. Your advisors, you don't need to educate them. You just send a link. We have Express, no cost to you. It works with, do you have Venmo or Zelle? Oh, it works with that because it's common bank platform. And guess what? Our shop's proud to say we don't surcharge. This option's available. Or if you do, our shop, we have a surcharge fee. You have to disclose it. But here's an option for you have to not pay it. Wow, your satisfaction just goes up instantly. And this is why we're having our moment. Right. And I'm so excited. Right. But
Well, I'm glad
Express is
I'm glad you brought that up. The whole
What do you
surcharge thing,
think?
right?
Yeah.
So one of the shops that I coach,
Sure.
A+ Japanese, they're based out of
Sure.
California, Bay Area, and they did this phenomenally well, right? And I mean, they're a high volume shop. They're big. They do a lot of volume.
Yeah.
They were doing about, $150,000, $200,000 worth of credit card fees,
Mhm.
right? A year.
Yep.
They implemented Express just first couple months, right? As soon as the advisors started actually providing it as an option, it started, cutting back on those surcharges, like you said, right? The fees started going down. Then they implemented adding that surcharge for credit card fees,
Mhm.
right? So if you're using a credit card, you're going to get that surcharge
Yeah.
passed along to you. But here's the option that you have to avoid that.
Yeah.
They put that in and it just skyrocketed, right? Everybody started using Express. So it's one of those things. It's how you approach it, how your advisors also kind of disclose this is the way that it works.
Mhm.
But like you said, everybody already knows what Venmo is, what Zelle is, Cash
Yeah.
App, all this stuff. So the learning curve is not there. If we were trying to implement this 5, maybe 10 years ago, it would be a whole different story.
Exactly. And that's where the early days of FacePay, right? Now we don't need to educate. 3/4 of your customers already
Exactly.
have that. And that's great.
Can we talk about the surcharges for a moment? Because as a consumer, I hate that. I'm going to tell you right now, I hate it when I go into a business and there's a surcharge. You're charging me to provide convenience that I don't have to go to the bank and get a wad of cash or whatever it is. Like, how are you charging me for paying you? I can't get past that. And the other thing that I detest more than anything is when they don't tell you and you go to pick something up, you go to pay for something, and they didn't tell you ahead of time that if you pay by credit card,
Oh, yeah.
you're going to have a surcharge. Because I don't walk around with checks in Jason and I were laughing the other day. I mean, if I write 2 checks a year, I couldn't even remember how to spell 40 the other day. There was
What's a check?
I mean, so who's walking around with that? And if you're making a purchase, substantial purchase, or even a few $100s, How much cash do people take with them? So if you're going to be doing surcharges, you really need to think about your policy. How do you present it? How are you letting your people know ahead of time? And what other options are you giving them, and let them know ahead of time? The other thing, I think the general public, because I've polled a ton of people once some of our shops started charging, surcharges and all, and asked them in different when they buy things, and they are under the belief, the general consumer, that you're marking up this stuff 3% on top besides the surcharge.
Yeah.
Because now some people are saying, okay, well, it's this price, but a cash discount of 3%. In the consumer's mind, you're bumping it up and inflating the price more than really it would be, just so that you can take the 3% off.
Yeah.
So it's not a good perception. It's not a good perception.
When we started surcharging passing a consumer, now you heard both sides of the equation.
Right.
They believe if you're not, you're inflating prices or you're passing along, and everybody's so upset. And in automotive, it gets worse because you already brought in your vehicle to A+, and they disclose you have surcharge. Are you really going to get it and move it to another shop? No, you're going to bear the $125 fee that's on there versus move it because it's so painful. You're already in there. And that's why the satisfaction's so hard.
And plus some states it's illegal. And I don't think everybody's paying attention to that about, the legalities in each of the states for the surcharges. So if you're doing that, it's a very slippery slope. And we invite you to rethink it whatever way you go, but just really rethink that process.
We talked about the other day, it's what really drives it home for me is credit card companies, and they have us thinking 2 to 3%, right? And we already know it's a quarter of your profits, but they're thinking, I always have 3. You pass it to your customers, you want them to think, oh, it's just 3% I'm passing to them, right? But what they hurt you is they don't have me telling you all about retention, right? Is that customer has to pay it. They're not happy with you, and you lost the lifetime value of that customer, which is substantial, walking out the door and you're just driving them to your competitors, right? That don't do it yet. And it's 80% of them, right? They'll go reevaluate you next time because they're so unhappy about it, right? So you spend all the effort to get them in, you surprise them, here you go. They're going to tell you, but they're going to go somewhere else next time, or it's going to factor in.
One of the things that people don't factor in with losing a customer, you're not losing one customer. You're losing everybody their lifetime revenue, but everybody that they could have referred. And if you're doing your job right at the shops, your customers should be ambassadors for you and should be referring, I would say, no less than 10 people every couple of years. So if you measure that, not just a singular loss, but then the 10 referrals, it's exponential. And if you're really doing a great job, it's a lot more than 10 people that somebody refers for that. So it's not just that singular customer. When you
said they're at A+ Japanese, right? Do you want to guess the percentage of customers that pay with Express and avoid surcharge?
50.
86%.
Wow.
Right? Just how many are so they
you look like the cat that ate the mouse. You already knew that answer.
But now look at it on the other side. These are customers you gave an option to, and that's where you start. You gave them and they took it. They're gonna come back because you gave them an option. No one else is, right? And that's your advantage.
And that's what we have to think about. If you're educating, it isn't any different than presenting. These are the things that we saw in your vehicle that need attention, right? If you educate them and empower them to make a choice. So if you're giving them choices and educating them, and then whatever they pick, but it's not because they didn't know, or they were misinformed, or they felt forced, or they're being told these are your options, and they're getting to choose instead of somebody forcing it upon them.
Yeah, we kind of went through this when shop supplies were first becoming a thing, right, in the automotive industry. We even at ATI, we have the printouts that we started creating so that way shops could put, hey, this is what a shop supply, this is what it includes, and all of this, right? So, and it was a percentage, but this is something that the education behind it was the barrier, right? Because when we obviously, as shop owners, there's so much stuff that goes into the shop supplies. It's almost like a catch-all,
Yeah.
that you can itemize it, but it's not the most efficient way to do it. So we have the shop supplies to kind of catch some of these things in there, right?
Yeah.
So with that being said, this education aspect is usually the biggest barrier of entry, and that's already been eliminated. So it really just comes down to getting the buy-in from the team on how we're presenting it, all the options we provide. I mean, there's shops, you'll take a check. There's people that will still take checks. It's still an option, right? Are we disclosing this when the customer drops the vehicle off or even before?
Yeah.
So as far as Express, you guys have a decent amount of customers or clients, I should say.
Yeah.
What are the clients that are utilizing Express really well? Obviously, we already talked about one of the members that I coach. But what are some of the clients that you guys have that are doing really, really well with Express?
What's interesting, right? We just put together, we'll be showing it at the trade show, right? Is you have shops like Eric that surcharge very high, right? Because you gave this option. What's interesting is this morning you've been hearing about leadership and the culture you build, right? You take Jeff Byrne at Germantown Motor Works, right? Same results as Eric, not surcharge, because they share with the customer they're not going to do it. We have this better, say it's emotional, more beautiful pickup option. It's easier on you, right? And these shops are all doing equally as well. They're 60, 70% conversion.
Wow.
They don't need to get to surcharge them. And it's just part of this culture and you believe in it. I did have an aha moment this morning is we are hearing in more shops going to 4-day work weeks.
Yes.
I mean,
You know what's so funny? We talked about this with our members about culture and 4-day work weeks and things probably 10, 12 years ago before it was cool because we watch all the trends we knew were coming. I actually had people walk out of my round table and say, I will never do this. And
Wow.
they work for me and this is BS. And they're, they get a paycheck. That's their thank you. And I was like, you're going to be in trouble. And a couple of those shops are, and they're barely hanging on, but they don't. It's so funny because we've seen this coming for so long. And now all of a sudden it's here and it's like this new thing. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's
I think I'm going to break my chair again because this is the epiphany, right? It's working for us is we have surcharge. We're moving to 4-day work week. When does everybody want to get their vehicles? Friday and the weekend. You're not open, right? And no one is going to release a vehicle unless it's paid.
Of course.
Right? So Express is the way to get a guaranteed payment in the door without the fees. And the interesting thing is you send out our version of text to pay is you get the text to pay. You get the lockbox code after you pay. That's why like being out of time, right? You talk about the lighter, the most simple thing, that's it. You send it to the customer, the vehicle's yours from Thursday night all the way to Monday. You can get it when they want it. And it's interesting. This culture closing Friday actually hurts the customers if you're not thinking like that.
Right.
They want to get their vehicle back.
well, yeah, most people need their vehicle on the weekend.
Oh, there you go.
Well, it's like what you said about the rental cars, right? The fast break.
Oh,
It's the same concept here. You get to skip all of the hassle and you go on your own time. Maybe it'll be 2 a.m. Doesn't matter. It's already paid for. You just go pick it up whenever you can make it work.
when you make it work, it's on your time. What a good feeling that is.
Exactly. Flexibility.
Right?
We're trying to do this to provide better flexibility options we do this with the 4-day work week. Why do we go there? Flexibility for our employees. Now, this is another option.
To your customers.
Exactly.
So I
There
get
we
so
go.
excited. Here they are. This is an awesome bunch. Right? I just
This is the fastest group picture we've ever had.
And,
Can we talk about a little bit the security of this? Because we shared on the podcast, probably a couple of them already. I had an experience at a Ford dealership the other day. And just as you're talking about, it was like the weekend and I wanted my car and they got the vehicle ready. And they were it was the end of the day and they were going to send a driver out with another driver, deliver the car. Great. How do I pay? Send me the link to pay. And I had to give them my credit card over the phone. I have been sweating for days now, checking like my bank account and, the credit card, because how in the heck, give me your card over the phone. So let's talk a little bit about the security benefits of Express.
a different way to view it from our perspective, right? And back to so many people are using it now is, do you use mobile banking, right? Do you trust, do you have a Bank of America app or a Fidelity app? We trust our mobile banking apps. They've secured it.
Kind of.
right? The loophole, same tomorrow, I'm talking about cryptocurrency and quantum computing, right?
Of course.
The limitation's always the human equation, right? Password cracking.
Exactly.
Right. If we take some basic steps, we're a long way, right?
There we go.
Ahead of that. So if you're personally implementing basic security in your bank account, the layer we connect to is Plaid, which goes through that.
Okay.
Right. And you should see the certification, right? I've been through HIPAA, PIC compliance in my career. I used to be division CTO of QuickBooks, right? We've been through it. It's all hard. It's as hard as you can get. Right.
Well, I think it's important that you mentioned that, right?
Yeah.
You were CTO of QuickBooks.
Yeah.
How many of our businesses are using QuickBooks? I mean,
yeah.
Right. So this security aspect of this, like better than anybody else that we've probably even find, right? So I think that's you just briefly brushed over that, but it's such a big piece of this whole component.
The comfort zone is if you trust the security of your bank and the app you have.
Well, I trusted a heck of a lot more than giving my credit card.
Right? So right? And these have to connect through the same interface. So the banks are controlling that access. Right. And then when we make sure we layer on the same standards that are needed. Right. And this has been a background for years.
So one of the things
Great question.
The security. And then one of the things we hear from our members and stories, there's always all these scams going on and people don't pay attention. And, part of it's on the shop owner or the service advisors that they've not been trained properly. For example, if someone ever calls your shop to order 20 tires and they're going to pick them up on a truck and ship them to another state, you have to stop and think and say, why can't they get tires in that state? Like every state sells tires. So when there's a sale comes in over the phone or it's just too good to be true. It's too good to be true. But they take credit cards. We've had a rash of it again. $6,000, $5,000, whatever it went through. And then guess what? 2 days later, 3 days later, the chargeback. So
what's interesting is because we go through the banks, we guarantee our payments. It's interesting, and this isn't the way we pitch it at all, but while we're here, did you see this Chase Bank glitch on TikTok? Did you see this where they're literally TikTok say deposit your check Friday.
Okay.
Because the banks are closed and withdraw the money.
No.
But put in a check worth more money than you have. And then on Monday, it's okay. It'll go. Right. What they all miss, it's a felony. Right. So your chargeback, you can't walk in and say, I don't recognize it. Why? And it's where you came. We set expectations by going through an estimate and service and pickup process. We have documentation. So it's literally in their banks, you're signing a form saying, right, it's a felony.
Wow.
It is on that side. So that gives that protectionism on it. We guarantee all of our payments. We don't have chargebacks there. What's near to me, right, is my FAFO moment this morning, right, is you go consumer financing. Right, is we have chargeback risk, and now we're trying to do all the consumer finance that's easier, but you're mandated now to have to charge back. And who's your biggest risk percentile is them. And they get these bills a month later, you charge back. And the chargeback rate in financing 5 times higher in credit cards.
Wow.
Which is already out of control, right? So on our side, it's protected because it's felony. Literally to go to your bank, say, I don't recognize it because we have signed estimates. Yeah, I know TechMetric's a great partner. And what do they do in workflow? They include it. And
exactly.
Customers like it because they don't think, unfortunately, the industry, you have to go through, we can see it. It's clear I approve it. And that shop's like, I have my timestamp, this customer participated, right? Because we're part of that process. It works really well. It's a felony on the other side. And we guarantee all the payments. We do the balance checks and bring it forward.
It's not a glitch. It's a felony.
Yeah, it is. Right? It's interesting. We'll just go charge back. Oh, no, it doesn't work that way. Sorry, it's your vehicle.
People really thought that was a glitch?
Oh, they did. Did you see some weekends, right? Thousands of people in jail.
That's crazy.
Oh, yeah. And they just learn, they just don't think money. can't just go to withdraw money you don't have.
Yeah,
right.
where did
So
it
they
come
never occurred, right? But it's a Chase Bank glitch, right?
Wow.
TikTok.
If only these people use their superpowers for good. Could you imagine what a world we would have if they use the intelligence that some of these crooks and
Well, I think that's how
Scammers
locksmithing came
have.
about, right?
Is that-
Somebody took their intelligence and made it good. Now,
made it a solution?
exactly. Instead of stealing cars, just I'll unlock your car for you. There we go.
What do you remember the first fobs, right? As people would easily clone those in the cars, right?
So, what are some of the other benefits that you feel like switching over to this platform?
You know, what's really hard is customers appreciate it. And we tend to undervalue that, right? I know I'm an engineer. We're shop owners. We're tech.
You're a rocket scientist.
We're just
You're literally a rocket scientist. He's like,
techs, right?
I was the CTO at
Yeah.
QuickBooks.
Someone was so like just glancing over
yeah.
that, like,
I'm an engineer.
yeah, I have a fighter jet. You know,
Makes life. Gotta enjoy it. We tend to underappreciate consumer experiences, right? And you remove the smallest thing. Here's a Brittany Schindler here. Is I'll make every decision from what makes it easier on the customer first,
Mhm.
right? And that's interesting about Express. It does, right? And when you feel it internally, and that's what the customers read from you, they'll pick that up, and it does make it easier. Back to the pass break, right? Back to perception. For 40 years, they would have to figure out a ride to your shop. They come in, they wait at the counter, and you're busy Friday morning. They wait for you to be on the phone. I'm on demos. I love them. 25 demos a week.
wow.
Half of them I'm put on hold and I Zoom while they go off with the customer and wait 15, 20 minutes. And do you know what I do? I said, look at my TikToks. Right? So,
Find some glitches.
right? And it's always just customer first. So the other thing about Express is just this intrinsic customers do like it. They really do. We just think technically, but you get in this customer mindset.
Mhm.
Here you like your quick check-in at the wonderful Hill Village, right? It's
Mhm.
wonderful. And check out, what do? You just throw your room key in
Exactly.
and go, right? So
And you know what's
we
called?
value that. Yeah.
Express checkout.
There you go, right? So, what's in the name, right? They actually use ChatGPT to help come with the name. Do you remember I presented that? It's funny.
So Jason and I have been spending a lot of time talking with guests and, even each other on these episodes about using the technology we have today and your tools and resources. And this is one of those things that everybody needs to look at and think about embracing as options. And
Yeah.
I don't know why in the automotive industry we laugh that we're so far behind all the other industries, and we just seem to fight any kind of a change and you need to stop doing that, because one of the benefits of this is a substantial savings to the shop owners. I mean, I think on the lowest end of anybody I've spoken to, they're save 35, 40,000 a year.
Yeah.
And on the high end, I mean, it was like 200
I guess
plus.
up north of that.
So, and north of that. So whatever technology it is that you're using to get some kind of savings, what are you going to do with it? And it opens up what's possible, right, for so many things. And I've heard stories about, we didn't have health insurance for our people. Now with that money that we're saving credit card fees, we're able to provide health insurance, or they wanted a break room and a training room. So they used the monies they saved to build that, or they wanted to expand or get a new fan, or, a lot of it's very internal customer centric, that they're putting the money back into the internal customers and things at the shop that would. So it's equipment, it's other things. One of them I even spoke to put a fund together, and not the whole amount,
Okay.
but they took a percentage and they said, we're going to throw, 10,000 out of that $30,000 in a pot. And then we're going to divide it up over that, end of the year for everybody, or
Wow.
whatever it is. So they're doing a lot of creative things with it, but where do you it's not every day you open up like a brand new profit center. I mean, it's almost like a profit center.
It's
right?
already there.
Yes, it's your money. It's already
Yeah.
there.
So there's not too many things that we can do in the industry. I mean, we can add more base, we can, we can add more services, we can increase our rates, but there's not a lot of opportunities. There's all of a sudden pick up 200 grand a year or even 30 grand a year, whatever you are on the scale. So it's almost, again, like a profit center to be able to do that. There's not a lot of things you can put in place and have that immediate return.
Well, there's also not a lot of things that you get that win-win, right? It's a win for the customer experience improves, win for the shop because it makes the less chaos in the front, and also win for the business owner because there's more money for the bottom line.
And it's a win for Kim because she doesn't want to give her credit card number over the phone.
It's nervous.
In 2025.
It's just a win. That's what gets me excited, right? I do a lot of philanthropy and charity work, right? Is take this money. They're in the local communities. There's so many programs I see. Every auto shop has one. You could double how much you're giving them, make an impact in your community.
Well, we talk about this all the time, right? Because there's a decent amount of shop owners, like techs that turn into shop owners that are scared of money.
Yeah.
They're scared of making more profit. They're scared of charging more to make more.
Yeah.
And the whole thing comes down to is this is enough money for me, or whatever that stigma is. But they don't realize that money is not just for you, right? It's also your people. And if it's more money for you, there's so much stuff that we can do with the money, right? Like you brought up philanthropy, charities, with what we are able to provide with the customer experience. With these
Which 99% of our members are so charitable already, and they do so much for the community, and they're very passionate about it. This will open up
a whole other door.
So other doors. And what about we talk all the time about having to grow your own technicians and having a real training program and all of that. Everyone's always, I'm too busy, or I don't have the money to pay somebody that can. With monies like that, you can hire somebody, and even if you earmark it for that, if we're gonna start like a tech mentor program and apprentice program, and then hire people that aren't going to be producing right away. Like it's just we just love about at ATI what's possible. What's possible, and
there, right?
Sky's the limit.
There's so much possible there.
What you're making me think, and this is why I love working with coaches so much, right? It just inspires me and just makes me think of we just came out of a presentation about emotions and fear, right? And if you would, the gravity we have with credit cards is we know they work, their certainty. I can pass on a surcharge with certainty, and my customers are,
and I love my
points.
I do love my points.
Rewards. Do you love your points? So there's some certainty around it, and the fear is the uncertainty. Will this work? It's something new. And then I just go back to basics is go ahead. Put in key masters, right? A nice solid drop box.
Well, hopefully everybody has it. If you don't have a lockbox with multiple units in there, please.
You need one, right? Because customers see it, right? It's just they see it. They feel, right? The security made it better. Go get one. We're subscription. Can't tell you. Go get a lockbox. Put the keys in it. Just send this out. Let it be in a process and just do that. That'll give you the security to expand it because you have something there to win for every party involved. You say money, your customers get to pick up the vehicle they want. You may get short in time. Your advisor goes home, doesn't worry about it. They left in the box. Everybody wins.
Everybody wins.
You said, Jay, that's a good place to start to give you that
Isn't
security.
that an REM song? Everybody wins.
What's REM?
Yeah.
So
everybody hurts.
Oh, everybody hurts. See, I just
this lockbox is paint.
I just turned lemons into lemonades. But the lockbox, if you don't have one, even for me, like I have stuff to do. I don't want to stand at your counter for 20 minutes to check out while you're chit-chatting with everybody and doing whatever it is you do, or there's 5 people in front of me. I will use the lockbox even if there is somebody man at the counter and all of that. I want to pick up my car and I want to go. So
just want to go, right?
Yeah.
And this is where fear sets in. Whenever you mention that, we get my customers like to talk to me. I like talking to them.
but they have the option.
Go.
So that's what I love. When you have that box out there for me, I have the option of saying, put my keys in the box or hold them at the counter. I want to come in and spend time with you talking about your cats or whatever it is. I don't,
I'm sure the budget employee at the counter is super nice, but I didn't want to talk to them. I wanted to go see the volcano and beach, right?
Exactly.
I wanted in and out.
Right. There's times that you have doctor's appointments,
Right.
you have other things, but that's the part of being customer centric, right? And giving the options.
The option, right? Right.
It's all, and I really do like, just the word options. Some people are afraid of options in certain instances, but when it comes to the customer getting to choose, we want to provide as many options as we can.
There you go.
Doesn't matter if it's from, and we do this from presenting repair orders. We do this from the payment options, drop off options.
We do with communication. Do you prefer to call,
Email,
a text,
exactly.
Email?
So,
and then the crazy thing is all of our shop owners want options. They want options for everything they do.
Exactly.
But then it's like, okay, I don't want to provide them for my customers. I want them, but you can't have them.
Can't have them.
No. You can't have them.
You just threw out text, right? And back in at Demand Force, I sent the first text in Auto, right?
Wow.
Literally the first one, right? And do you know what he said is, no one will give a cell phone number. We'll never use this. No, never die. People need it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, here you go. Here's another option, right? You may not think you do, but you will need it. It is the one out there, 3/4 app. Right. It's how we solve a problem.
There isn't anybody. I was even watching on our charity run. People were running, holding their phone in their hand. I can't imagine that doesn't
slow you. Good idea.
Slow you down a little bit, but like people are always with the phones. We laugh all the time. If anybody ever gets arrested, right? We won't have a number to call. You get one number.
That's such a good point.
I wouldn't have. I wouldn't know who to call.
Well, hopefully we're never in that situation.
I hope we're never in that situation.
Never call her. You're safer in jail.
That's the way I grew up.
It is.
Yeah, I would have been calling one of my friends, not a family member back then. So
how do you know you're a true friend?
They're with you. What are you gonna call?
They're right there. So you still have no one to call.
That's true. They'll be sitting with you on the bench in a poker.
That's when you have no options.
Call Ryan Greenman.
Well, I'm going to call you. I'm going to be like, come get me in the jet.
Yep, pick me up in the jet now.
Come pick me up.
There you go.
Well, this was very informative. And again, you have to just think about your options, providing options. Use technology. Use the technology and the modalities we have today. Stop holding on to the things we've used for 20 years and 30 years and 10 years, even 1 year ago. Technology and all of the options and things it provides us is moving so quickly. Embrace it. Embrace the change.
And most of this technology is a win-win. It's all about how you look at it.
Buddy.
Absolutely.
Any other final thoughts from you, Dr. Hale?
I just do have, because it's personal for me, because I always learn from coaches, and the way I feel about Express now, it's built by the members. We got to this point from when we listened and built out, right? And then we talked about conversion from FacePay to Express, the way it is now, the lockbox. It's only from the members sharing with and the coaches coaching it. So it's literally, I feel it's very strong. It's built by the members for their customers, right? So a couple hundred on it now, right? You're in, we got worked out. We're always listening for more. Right. And that's why I love demoing the owners. You always hear a new take on it. But anyway, you inspired me about this yet again, right? It's built by members, right? And there you go. And we're excited by that, that work. So
awesome.
It's awesome.
And just for clarification, because we do have listeners that are not in the automotive industry. Right now, is Express just for automotive, or have you opened doors to any other industries yet?
Here's how I like to frame it, because Express customer convenience is a thing, right? We look at it as real world as applicability to many places. What we've done for right now, and we call it all auto all the time, because it's not just the product. You met Matthew here. It's a success team, right? So in automotive, we're prepared to work with you. It's applicable in other industries, and we have some out there that are using it.
Okay.
Where I'm careful in that is how you're supported, right? Is
course.
be patient with it. We'll work with you, right? But it's that support side. It's equally as important as a product, right?
So automotive
customer-
first.
Automotive first. We have a team on it. We've all, Richard, man, we've been automotive for years, right? And we understand that the product translates.
It's in our
Right.
blood that
Yeah.
it's in our it's just in everything. Well,
We're all going to 4-day work weeks. It's in there.
well, thank you so much
We're all.
for joining us, and it's always a pleasure, and
Yeah,
just
yeah.
love how passionate you are about always finding those solutions to problems for customers, for shop owners, for everything else. So,
Welcome. But thank you for having me as
Well-
well, right? We're grateful for that.
and I just want everybody to know at home, if I had even 1/10 of Dr. Hale's credentials and accomplishments, I would not be all humble like he is
Yeah.
over there. It would be, I'd have
I'd have
badge.
patches. The
Yeah, I'd have
patches.
patches.
Yeah.
I would have a hat with like a rolling.
Dr. General. Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody stay safe and make good choices. And we'll be back with some more episodes from Waikoloa.
And use your options.
Use your options. Technology is your friend.